I'm Deanna Quilici from the Italian Culture Society, and I'm going to show you today how to make homemade ravioli. Today we're going to make a mushroom, spinach, ricotta ravioli, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, first we're going to start off with the pasta or the dough. You start off with 2 cups of flour, and you put that over here, and inside your mixer you will put 2 eggs. You are going to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Mix the olive oil, the tablespoon of olive oil with the 2 eggs, and I use a hook attachment, and that's very good for dough. I will add flour, 2 cups of flour with a half a teaspoon of salt. When you're mixing, it'll be very dry. You'll add 1.5 to 2.5 tablespoons of water. I'm going to start with 2 tablespoons and see how it goes. Add a little bit more water and turn on your mixer. As you can see, it is all now holding together. And with nice clean hands, just knead it together. And you have your dough for your pasta, for your ravioli. Some people ask if you should put semolina in the dough mix, and no, because ravioli should be light and fluffy and all the attention should be on the filling. So we just make it with regular flour, and then you have a nice dough like this. Okay, now we're gonna take some cling wrap and put it in over our dough and put it in the refrigerator so it can relax for about an hour. Okay, now for the filling. We're going to chop up an onion, and we want 2/3 of a cup of onion. So this is 1/3. And this is 2/3. We also want 1 spicule of garlic. And this recipe will also be available for anyone who wants it. And now I have the garlic in here. We add a little bit of olive oil, around 1 tablespoon. Now, I don't worry about chopping too much, and I'll show you why later on, but basically what I do is I blend it all together to make a very light and fluffy dough. So I'm going to go ahead and cook that, and while I'm cooking that, I am going to start on the mushrooms. Now you can use any kind of mushroom you'd like, but I've chosen to use some chanterelle mushrooms that I found at Costco. So they're a lovely mushroom, add a lot of great flavor. But you can use button or any kind of mushroom you want. And what I'm putting in is about 8 ounces of mushroom, or half a large package. You cook the onions and garlic until they're translucent. And then you add the mushrooms, which you've lightly chopped up, and you add those to the whole mixture. And the beautiful thing about mushrooms is that they release a lot of liquid. So what you just do is you cook them until the liquid's gone. Now, as that is cooling, we're going to make the rest of the mix. So we start off with a package of chopped spinach. So you have a package of chopped spinach, and that's frozen, and you either leave it out long enough so it defrosts, or you can put it in the microwave at reduced power, and you can defrost it that way. It has a lot of liquid in it. So you take it after you've got it defrosted, and you squeeze out the liquid in the spinach, and with nice clean hands, of course. There we go. And you put it aside. Now in the blender, you will go ahead and add 1 egg. You'll add 1½ cups of ricotta cheese. So I have here some Frigo part skim ricotta. You can use full milk, you could use fat-free, whatever you like. We add 1½ cup of lovely ricotta, which is about plus or minus a full container of 15 ounces. Go ahead and let this mix up with the egg. You've mixed the ricotta with the egg. Take 1/2 cup of Parmigiano Reggiano. Nicely grate and put that in. Out of the Parmigiano, and it's been nicely incorporated. Go ahead and add your spinach. And your spinach has been incorporated. Take some salt and pepper to taste. And once again, mix everything together. Okay, now you have the cheeses all nice and blended with the spinach, and you have your cooled mushroom and onion and garlic. So go ahead at this point and put it all in a blender. I have a Nutribilla here. And we're going to put those all in. And this is why I didn't need the onions to be chopped too small or too perfectly, because I knew I was going to blend it. We want them small enough to make them even, to cook evenly, but we don't need to spend too much time. So go ahead and put the cheese mixture like that. Okay, and put the lid on. After you finish blending it, you may want to put it in a container and put it in the refrigerator for a while. At this point, if it's been about an hour, go ahead and pull out your pasta dough. You take a little flour, put it on a surface that you can roll out your dough, nice clean surface. Put your dough down, nice and floured, and you roll it out. Now the trick here is to roll it as thin as possible, because you want it to be nice and thin when you make your raviolis. Okay, now we have it nice and thin. It's a very nice dough. You can see how thin it is. And now it's time to add our filling. There's many ways to do this. Many of the articles and everything I've ever seen, they have you trying to line up holes, etc. This is not how our family did it, because it seemed like an impossible task. So what I do is I put it in a good amount of filling near the middle, on one side of the middle of the dough, keeping away from the edges. And then I take the second half of the dough. Here, go. Second half of the dough, and you put it to the, so it folds over. I use my ravioli roller, and I start off with a flat edge. And what this does is it will push the dough forward while you're making ravioli. So this is a very simple way to do it. Okay, we have a couple of different kinds of ravioli rolling pins. We have this one, which came from my family. It's a lot thicker. It gives me a little bit more space between the ravioli. And there's this one that you can purchase at any Italian cooking store. Okay, you take, after you've got the raviolis, and you can see how nice they look, you take a cutter and you just cut between the raviolis. At this point, you separate your raviolis and you put them on a nicely floured cooking sheet to get ready to be boiled. Okay, so I have my ravioli here ready to boil. You have a boiling pot of water, well seasoned with some salt and a little bit of olive oil. I want to have a rapid boil. You put these in. You put them in for 4 minutes, 4 to 5. When they're ready, they will come to the surface, and that's when you take them out. At this point, we're going to make a sauce. And the sauce I'm going to make is a very light and fun sauce. You can put any sauce you want on this. A marinara goes well, a meat sauce. You can do even pesto or whatever you enjoy. But for this one, I'm going to show you how to make a quick and simple lemon sauce. Okay, it has been about 4 minutes and the ravioli are floating to the top. We're going to take them off the heat and drain them. If you choose to make this sauce, it is very delightful. It is very different. So I start off with a shallot. I chop it up. I put it in a pan. And I put in a cube, or in this case, since I have so few ravioli, about ½ a cube of butter. This is very enjoyable, and I will cook the shallot down until it's translucent. Now the other half of the recipe is lemon. So I took a couple of lemons from my lemon tree. If you notice, they're pretty small this year. So let me go ahead and clean those off. And I'm going to start with zesting them by using the fine edge of the grater and just taking that very fragrant, lemony flavored zest. Now I take a lemon and I will go ahead and squeeze it with my zest and get the juice out. See right here, you have a little lemon juice with the zest in there. And we come over to this, and when our shallots are nice and translucent and our butter is melted, we just go ahead and add this to the mixture. This will give you a lovely lemon flavored sauce for your pasta. Spinach, mushroom, and ricotta ravioli with a lovely lemon sauce. Let me give it a try. You can see. E buonissimo. I would like to say, everyone, have a happy new year, Merry Christmas, and we hope to see you next year at the center. It's been a hard time, but we have some exciting projects coming up. And hopefully next year, the center will be open again and we could all invite you in, because after all, we're one big Italian family. And with that, ci vediamo.